What's going on, folks? It's your man JQ right here on Geeked Out with DefTal Radio. I'm your man JQ, like I just said, and this is Free.
Yo!
And this is Chandler.
Yo!
And Megan is not here because she's
dealing with stuff.
She's dealing with stuff. So
she's dealing with stuff.
So we will see her hopefully next week, and show goes on.
Right. By the way, if you're not watching The Walking Dead, you should be, because our very own Megan is one of the whisperers on The Walking Dead.
Did you call her Negan?
Megan.
Oh, okay, I thought you said Negan.
Negan.
So did I. Megan too. I'm like, what?
Megan is on. So
our very own Negan.
She's one of the whisperers.
So yeah, check that out. Walking Dead every Sunday at what 8 p.m. 9 p.m.
Around there.
Something like that. Something like that. Check your local listings.
Yep.
All right. As we go ahead and start the show, last week we talked about how sales were up overall for comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Just came out, and I saw this on CBR.com that DC Comics is actually cutting some of their books.
Doesn't surprise me, especially with the changes they've made.
Yeah, and plus they I mean, if you look at what they've put out, there are so many titles out there. So many titles. I think they at one point they're like at 74 different titles.
Well, I know that I mean, the comic industry always does this, where they'll put out, like, say, the new 52.
Yeah. And
then later on they'll scale back the ones that aren't making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then they'll reintroduce some, or they'll introduce a new book. Like, for example, they just put out Old Lady Harlequin.
Okay.
And kind of like a
Did you say Old Lady Harlequin?
Old Lady Harlequin. So
wow.
They'll get rid of a book.
Is that supposed to be DC's version of Old Man Wolverine or something?
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan,
right?
yeah.
But it's Old Lady Harlequin.
Wow.
Interesting.
And so they'll get rid of books that aren't selling well, and they'll try to reintroduce another book. So either way, I think they'll still be up to 60 to 70 books a week.
Well, the last number that I read was 47 books.
Wow.
47 books I think are going to be left after everything gets cut. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully that stimulates more readership, because now you can actually stick with just a few books instead of going to your pull box and having to look through 100 books that you know.
Yeah, because I would, one thing that I hated was that I couldn't stick to, like, if I read a story, I wanted to be able to just read it in that one book, instead of having to split up, like, you got to read it out, like, this issue right here, this issue right here, this issue right here.
Yeah, it's like, remember Civil War?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many offshoots did they have from that? I mean, it was,
like, here's
a Civil War story, which was fine, but then you had the Captain America offshoot, and you had the Avenger offshoot, and you had the X-Men offshoot, and I mean, it's like, oh my God, and then each offshoot might have had an offshoot of its own. It's like, holy Toledo.
Yeah, like Secret Wars 2 was a great example of how they should have done it. Just one book, one miniseries, 12
one title.
Issues.
Yep.
And then if there's a crossover, then you wouldn't have to necessarily buy the book, but it's part of the story. So, but anyways, with that being said, ToyCon was this weekend.
Well,
how was it?
Before we jump on the ToyCon, because it's kind of an interesting story that ties into what you were just saying about DC.
Okay.
I had actually read something that was a little on the disturbing side, and that is that there's a rumor floating around that Disney is talking about closing the Marvel publishing division.
Ooh.
Oh, I hope not.
I'm like, wow.
Well, are they?
But
are they
here again, it talks about part of the problem is you have all these titles that are being put out, and how many of them are not being successful, and therefore, when it comes down to the bottom line, how much money is the company actually making?
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where you say, do we really want to allocate, from a corporation viewpoint, do we want to allocate these resources here to something that just is not making the money, or simply take that away and now take those resources and put into something else that has the potential of growing? I thought it was an interesting article. And ironically, it talked about how I forget, it was Joe Quesada and someone else. I forget who the other person was, but apparently they were supposed to be doing some kind of panel somewhere at a show in the U.S., and it was talking about how Marvel was going to be stepping it up and everything. So I thought, interesting that you had this report coming out, but then you have the Joe Quesada, who is the
editor-in-chief.
Well, no, he's not the editor-in-chief anymore. He's the chief creative officer.
Oh, okay.
He's the chief creative officer, but he's out there basically playing rah-rah, and so anyway, I thought it was interesting tie into what you were just talking about with DC scaling back. And I actually talking to John, I was on the phone with John today, John Jr., and from basically you look at it from a creative viewpoint, look at what's going through, they're sitting there going, holy Toledo, what happens if you have one of these major publishers suddenly shut their door? Where does that leave these guys?
Well, does DC own the rights to the publishing, like print work for Marvel, or do they just own the?
No, does DC or Disney?
No, Disney. Sorry, yeah, Disney.
Disney owns it outright.
Oh, okay. See, I thought that was probably one of the reasons why DC doesn't promote the comic book. I mean, all they got
Disney.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Disney. I don't know why Disney, like when Marvel movies come out, Marvel Studios come out, why don't they have it in the theaters? If you love Avengers, check out your local comic shops for these books available. Like, they don't do that. So there's like a very high separation between book and the source material and the
I
actual
agree
movie.
with you, and that has been something that's come up with several retailers when we have gotten together to say, why isn't there more promoting being done by the parent company in helping the retailers by saying, hey, if you like this movie, make sure you go check out the characters at your local comic book shop, or something like that. And then it could be something as simple as, just go to your local comic book shop locator to find a shop near you. That way they're not promoting specific shops, but they're promoting the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
So I don't have the answer there, but
we'll see.
I'm sure it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I'm going to be the optimist and say that it all works out fine in the end.
Okay.
I mean, we're crossing all the fingers we can. So,
anyways, as I was saying earlier, ToyCon happened this past weekend.
Yep.
And I know one of the big things was I ran into you.
I was there
on Sunday.
Megan was there. Yeah.
Megan did a great job. She was posting all weekend, showing all her MC gigs at the panels all weekend.
Yeah, it was like you'd see her pictures with Eric Estrada and Larry.
Oh yeah, Constant
Though
John.
I heard Estrada was chasing her, which doesn't surprise
me at all.
But it was first off, it was interesting because the show moved from, in the past they had held it at the Circus Hotel and Casino
and the Orleans,
and was it at the Orleans?
It was at the Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, but this year they moved it to the Westgate, and this is also, I think, the first time that they had everything all in one room.
Yeah.
Because I've never been to any of the previous shows, so I'm not 100% sure. Obviously for them it revolved around toys. And they did have some comic dealers there as well as other stuff. It was interesting to see some, I can't tell you how many times I went the aisle going to my table, and the young lady that was at a booth, would you like me to read your palm?
Oh, I saw that lady.
I'm like, my palm's telling me keep walking.
Right. Well, see, the thing is, like, I did ToyCon when it was at Circus. And they actually had some of the vendors up in their hotel rooms where they'd use the beds as their tables. And
wow.
Yeah, you go to like the 5th floor, and all the vendors were literally standing at the doors, and you walk down and you go into the different.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how it was. And I started there, and then we went to the Orleans, and they used the arena. But even with the arena, the outer circle on the very top was where they had all their celebrities. So everybody was separated.
Yeah.
The artists were in the back, wrestlers were in the front.
I've had people come to me and talk about maybe moving the Great American Comic Con to the Orleans Arena, and the problem I have with that is I've seen shows do the arena aspect. One example is the ACE convention, and the problem is you lose that sense of togetherness, that sense of of this is a con when you have stuff spread out like that versus just having everything on one floor.
Yeah.
You know, I realize you may have a certain section over here, a certain section over there, but still, everything is on one floor. And so it's easy for someone to walk from this side of the floor to that side of the floor versus having to, well, let's see, we're going to have to go here, go down this hallway, go up this escalator, go down these set of stairs, go through this bathroom to get to this hallway.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, holy Toledo.
Well, and also another thing I heard from patrons that went to ToyCon, they said that it's, even though there's toy-centric, it was more celebrity-centric now. So,
yeah.
But again, some of the celebrities were voices of Transformers.
I mean, you had let me see, you had the actress, the voice actress that played Tinkerbell.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
oh, she's Disney. A sweetheart, by the way.
Yeah,
like the original Tinkerbell, she's an absolute sweetheart.
You know, you had all these different voice actors that played all these different characters. The big draw were the two primary voice actors from Transformers. And a bunch of us were saying
Colin
this actually felt more like a Transformer convention that had let the other stuff in. You know, you had Frank Walker, who played Megatron.
Megatron.
Huh?
Megatron.
That's what I am.
And then you had Peter Cullen, who played Optimus Prime.
Yep.
But you also had, there was the actor who played Bumblebee. There was an actor that was playing Grimlock, and so all these other characters. So yeah, it was definitely more of a media-based show.
Yeah.
Also, you had, I want to say, probably at least 6, if not 8 wrestlers that were there.
Was Becky Lynch there, by the way? Or did she not show up?
Oh, she was like a Saturday, I think, or something.
Oh, okay.
Like that. But speaking of wrestlers. I ran, like I said earlier, I ran into Chandler, and boy, did this guy have a lot to say about a certain RKO.
Oh, wow, what happened? Spill it.
Okay, no. Even before we get into this, I just want to let you guys know who aren't wrestling fans, what this is about to be is what they call a shoot interview, where you just go, like, it's not anything storyline based. You're just letting all your feelings out and just letting it hit the camera. So go ahead, Chandler. Let us know.
Well, why don't you tell us who RKO is?
First off, we're talking about Randy Orton.
Randy
Orton, okay. Just quick background, I wrestled in high school and college. So when I see these wrestlers, I appreciate them for the athletes that they are. Yes, there's a lot of acting that goes into what they do, but from the athletic side of it, there is no two ways around it. These guys are phenomenal athletes, considering what they do, jumping from heights of 10, 20 feet up in the air, all kinds of stuff. So they have my utmost respect for what they do. But what ended up happening was I ended up, as a fan, I ended up buying a photo op and a autograph package with Randy Orton and a photo op and an autograph package with Seth Rollins. And I was looking forward to meeting them both. And I had bought an autograph, not a photo, but an autograph with Becky Lynch and with Aksonia. Aksonia?
Oh, the Japanese Asuka.
Asuka. And it's not actually, I actually fell into those 2 tickets by accident because someone had overbought, and it's like they actually gave me the ticket. So it's like, okay, cool. But anyway, so I have my photo op with Randy, and that went fine. That went fine. Hey, dude, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Took a picture, the whole bit. So now I'm going to get my photograph that is now printed out with me and Randy together, autographed by him. So, and the autograph is over in another section. So what I did was I waited until the autograph line had pretty much come to an end. And I take the what is basically the last spot in line, and I happen to be right behind a guy that was getting, I want to say, at least a half a dozen, if not as many as 10 of those belts.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
the wrestling championship
the replica belts
that are replica belts and everything, and he's getting those signed by Randy. And so I'm standing behind the guy, and he's finishing up, and basically Randy's kind of going off. Now he's talking to the handler and a couple other people that are behind him as he's standing at the table. And so he's basically just going off about how, oh, he had to sign this is me acting as Randy. I had to sign 1,000 of those stupid pops, and I just this isn't worth my while unless I'm making about 50 grand, blah 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 blah, and he's just going on and on and on about how this was stupid, is it worth his while and the whole bit. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, here it is. While it's okay that you have those personal feelings, but to have those feelings vented in front of fans who are standing there out in the open. Excuse me, Mr. Orton, but know your place and be a professional.
Right?
I work with comic creators as well as celebrities myself. And the fact is that they know where they are. They have the presence of mind that they've got fans around them, and they're not about to sit there and, as I say, air their dirty laundry or their dirty opinions, especially when it has to do with them and their stuff getting signed.
Right.
If you have an issue with signing this stuff, then you know what? Don't sign the contract and don't come to that show. Stay where you are, keep practicing your wrestling craft, and keep doing what you do best, and that's wrestle, instead of going out to the public and appearing in front of your fans, taking their money, and at least, even if it kills you, plaster that fake smile on your face and say, thank you, wonderful meeting you, have a good day. Didn't even get that. My hand was stuck out to you to shake your hand, and it wasn't until you tore your attention away from your people behind you that you saw my hand and you just reached out, grabbed it real quick, and shook it, and that was it. It wasn't even a, hey, can I sign that picture for you? You weren't even paying attention to the person in front of you that you were signing the picture for, which you got paid for. So that's my rant.
Yeah.
That's my rant.
Shoot interview.
Well, the thing is, WWE, every once in a while, and they actually do this pretty often, they'll go into the ring, and people will be like, if it wasn't for the fans, if it wasn't for the WWE universe, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't have this product, all that kind of stuff. And so when it comes to guys like Randy Orton saying that it's not worth his time, it's derogatory to what he's supposed to be doing. He should be out there saying, you know what, these are the fans that got me here.
Yeah.
These are the ones that bought my T-shirt. These are the ones that bought.
Absolutely.
And so for him to say that in front of people, go to the back, eat a sandwich, and just vent there.
And like I said, I work with comic creators, and we kind of have that situation with comic creators in the sense that the comic creators, they're smart enough to know that they're not going to vent like that in front of a fan unless you have a fan that's sitting there being demanding on them.
Yes, very, very disrespectful.
So let's take John Romita Jr. as an example. If a fan sat there and said, well, I want you to do a full sketch for me, and it's like, I'm sorry, I got
mine is 100 people long.
I don't have time to do that right now. I could do a quick sketch, a quick doodle for you. Oh no, I want Okay, that's different. That's different.
That's just being disrespectful.
Where it's like, listen, I'm not here to do a commission job for you. That's not the purpose of me being here. But again, you're talking about, in this case, it was simply a fan that had stepped up, who had paid money to get the photograph done, brought the photograph to the table to get it autographed, and you couldn't even give that fan 10 seconds of your time to say, oh, would you like me to sign this for you? Thank you so much for coming out. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Well, I mean, with Orton, what I've been hearing or what I've been reading is that that's kind of par for the course for that guy.
Mm-hmm. That's just how he acts.
So I'm not surprised.
Well,
anyways, I hate to cut this off short, but we got to get to a commercial break.
Yep.
When we get back, our top 3 topics of the day. We are back, and we are ready for our top 3 topics of the day.
DefTal top 3 topics of the day.
All right, topic number 1. Namor the Submariner versus Aquaman. Who wins?
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Yeah.
Although the Submariner is very strong, he's the first mutant in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
And he controls a lot of what's going under the sea. Aquaman is literally the one that talks to fishes and sharks and whales and everything. He's the king of the sea. He controls everything. My personal opinion. Now, keep in mind, I'm a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
And this is going to hurt my own feelings. But
I'm
I'm going to go to Aquaman. I'm not even going to go with the Jason Momoa Aquaman. I'm going to go with the bleach blonde, sideburns, like the original looking
Arthur Curry.
Arthur Curry. Aquaman. Especially when Jim Lee started drawing him. So now keep in mind, if Chris Claremont, if he would have wrote Submariner, then that would probably be one of my favorite characters ever.
Gotcha.
But in this fight, I'd have to go with Aquaman.
Chandler.
I think this is kind of a tough one. The reason for it is that Submariner has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen him actually playing antagonist as well as protagonist because he was actually to a certain degree an antagonist in the Fantastic Four universe.
Yeah.
Being that he had that his feelings for Sue Storm and everything, and that you had Reed and Submariner basically battling each other to a certain degree. I also think he has more of a, I want to say, a meaner edge to him.
Oh, definitely.
Aquaman does.
Yeah.
So from that respect, I think that gives him an advantage over Aquaman. Is that I think he has less of a feeling for mankind and maybe has more of a rage towards mankind than what Arthur Curry or Aquaman has. So that's why I'm really kind of tossed between this as to who would win it. Because yes, Aquaman, being able to communicate with the under the sea life, honestly, I don't think that's really been thoroughly flushed out in the
what his power set is.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I just think he can swim underwater, obviously, but he's strong, right? So, but I've never seen him try to control.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think there's still very much a mysterious side of him of stuff that we don't know about him. That honestly, I think Marvel, if they wanted to, they could probably flush that out.
Oh yeah, they could definitely beef him up.
Yeah, and let's face it, with Aquaman being as popular as he was in the DC cinematic universe, why wouldn't Marvel try to do that in the Marvel universe? Books first, publishing first, kind of flush him out more, so that in a couple of years, now you have.
Now you got the Phase 4,
Marvel's
Phase 5
version of Aquaman to introduce in the cinematic universe.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening too.
So
you got wait. So you got one Aquaman, you got one Submariner.
All right, so I'm gonna go with this because I had just read recently that Submariner had just picked up another power set.
Oh, what can he do now?
You what?
He picked up another power set. So he remember Hydro Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very recently, I read about this. Very recently, Namor was able to kidnap Hydro Man and steal his powers.
So now he can be liquid?
So now he can control water.
But so can Aquaman.
No. There's a difference between controlling the molecules of water and controlling animals.
Well, no, I mean he can actually make waves and
make water.
Yeah, in fact, Jim Lee is the one that drew it, where he had Aquaman making a tsunami. Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Okay.
yeah. So, and that's the reason why when you brought it up where he can take over the powers of Hydro Man, it's like, well, then that means that Aquaman can control him too.
Yeah, because well, how the story went was that Captain America had to go visit Namor because Namor was acting up, you know,
As he does.
as he does normally. And when he was down there in his kingdom, Hydro Man was caged up, powerless, with a bunch of stuff attached to him. What's going on here? On top of that, I don't know if you guys remember when the Phoenix Force came back to Earth and they split it up into
He was one of the
he was
Phoenix
one
Five.
of the Phoenix Five.
Yes, Namor, Magic, Colossus, Cyclops, and the White Queen.
Yes.
So yeah, oh my God, can you imagine that?
So
No, if that's the case, if we're talking about the Phoenix Force and then I have to go with Namor.
yeah. So, but either way, even without that, I would still go Namor. I think because, like Chandler said, he has a bad side to him.
He's got
It's like Ric Flair, right? Ric Flair, he could be a great face or a great heel.
It depends on which
But
one he wants to do.
That's what makes him a great champion, right? He has two different sides to himself.
So what? Okay, so do me a favor out there, go in the comments and write who you think would win, Aquaman or Namor, and give us the reasons why.
Love to see that. I would love to see that. All right, so
I got outvoted.
So Submariner wins this one.
Ding ding ding. All right.
All right. So next topic: is there a character under one publisher that you would think would be a better fit with another publisher? Example: Moon Knight.
Okay, wait. Say that whole thing over again.
Is there a character under one publisher that you think would be a better fit with another publisher? Example: Moon Knight in DC, Mr. Terrific in Marvel, something like that.
Do you have yours?
It's hard. I don't know, because like you gave Moon Knight as an example. To me, Moon Knight would be kind of like Marvel's version of Batman.
Yeah.
So,
but that's what
they already have a
you
Batman.
say would it be better under another publisher? The problem is they've already got a character like that. So, I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head by dissecting each universe and figuring out who would be better where.
Yeah.
I could see certain characters working together with other characters from other universes.
Yeah. That's your regular crossovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
do you see one that would make them jump and just stay in that universe?
And make it better.
I can't really see. I can't think of anyone like what you had there going over to another publisher and being better off.
Yeah.
Because I do think, to a certain degree, characters, just like, honestly, the Avengers were created to counteract Justice League.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Justice League was created in the DC universe first, and I know I've heard the stories. I've heard Stan actually talk about it, where he walked in. Martin Goldman, who was the publisher of Timely, then became Marvel, was like, Stan, how did DC do this? How did they come out with a superhero team? Why don't we have a superhero team?
Yeah.
Make one.
And to a certain degree, Stan's first stab at that was the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
But then he went from there, basically bringing together the Avengers.
But your answer is you don't know yet. You don't have a definitive
My
answer.
answer is I don't have a definitive answer yet.
Gotcha. All right. Free.
I think recently DC, ever since Neil Adams changed the landscape of Batman, because Batman before used to smile. Neil Adams came in and just made him gritty, and then of course Miller and everything with the Dark Knight and all that. I think because DC went a little bit more gritty, a little bit more edgy, I think Punisher would be a great character to go over, because now you would have a Punisher character with Deathstroke, like that kind of thing, where he can be fighting those kind of people because of the grittiness of it. And Marvel at one time, even though Punisher again is a gritty character, war journal and all that, at there's a certain level that Marvel won't go to, where DC would, and that's how you got Harlequin. That's how you got all these other characters. Batman that would actually beat people up. Yeah, in the comic doesn't kill anybody. Blah blah blah. But he does have he doesn't kill anybody, but he has guns on his. On his.
Is he like a stormtrooper?
It's like it's funny because you look at Captain America. When Captain America was first created, he had a sidearm on him.
Yep.
And then there was a period of time where you saw. I want to say this is probably. I'd have to look, but it's probably not too long after Stan took over the Captain America character that you did not see a sidearm on him.
Yeah.
And
all right, we're starting to drift away from the topic. So
okay, and so. Even with Captain America, like DC would actually, just recently Marvel put out a book where Captain America, they showed him when he's actually fighting in wars. Mm-hmm. And that's when he actually had to get in there with a gun and, beat people up and blood splattered all over him and everything. And so that kind of storytelling was always a DC way.
Yeah.
Marvel was more of a,
And that was simply because you had Stan. Stan at Marvel was not that gritty.
Yeah, he was more family friendly
type of storytelling. But Stan was more of what was inside, what was causing the bad guy to become the bad guy.
Right. What caused the Hulk to go from mild mannered to a big green machine? Also, I think Galactus would be a great character in DC because everybody knows, and this is everybody that plays HeroClix out there, by the way, that the DC characters are always stronger than Marvel characters.
Thank you.
Always stronger than Marvel characters. So you got Superman, which is like an ultimate being, but recently Marvel said, okay, well, we're going to make the Sentry. But originally, all the DC characters were stronger than Marvel characters. So a character like Galactus, which is one of the omnipotent beings like the Celestials, he would be actually kind of on a mid-level in the DC universe at the time when he was created. So I think that would be kind of a cool one too.
Does DC have any kind of celestial type characters?
It's funny. I was just thinking about what would be DC's version of Thanos.
Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Superman's Darkseid.
That was a little. I think that was. I think that was pretty much established, or like they pretty much straight up said, "Oh yeah, you just took that idea."
Right, like Darkseid. Well, we need somebody like that. Okay, so we're gonna.
Cool. Here's Thanos.
Imperial X. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He's again one of those Thanos types from the DC universe. Again, DC just created these really ultimately powerful characters.
Yeah.
Because they had Superman.
Yeah.
One of the most ultimate powerful characters on the planet. So if one of them comes from Mars or whatever, they need somebody just as strong to go up against him. So I think my choices would be Punisher and Galactus.
All right, I'm gonna come out of left field here.
All right, left field. So,
before there was Penance, there was a character named Speedball.
Speedball.
Do you guys remember Speedball?
I remember Speedball.
Like he had all these like bubbles around him. Yeah.
I could totally see him as a Teen Titan.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could totally see him as a Teen Titan fitting in just perfectly.
Speedball. In fact, the New Mutants, like Cannonball, all of that, they could be Teen Titans too.
Yeah. Basically,
they're the Marvel Teen Titans.
Pretty much. But I just see Speedball as a character. I think that he would just fit perfectly. Him or Night Thrasher.
Or who?
Night Thrasher.
Night Thrasher.
He was the skateboard.
Right. Red, black.
But his costume was dope.
It was. Yeah. It was.
So that's my answer. Speedball or Night Thrasher.
There you go.
DC. All right. Next question.
Next question.
Our last topic. Did you ever notice that Marvel has weapons that are almost as popular as the hero or villain that wields it? For example, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, Heimdall's sword, the Infinity Gauntlet, stuff like that. Why doesn't DC have anything like that?
You want to feel this one?
I think the closest thing that they have for a weapon would be I can't remember. It's a chair. It's a chair that I can't remember the character's name, but he would use that to. He was
not MODOK. That's Marvel.
No, that's Marvel. Batman took over the chair for a little bit.
The chair,
and it almost made him omnipotent.
Well, we're gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick while you guys talk.
Yeah, I can't say that I really think think of anything that comes to mind. I mean,
Aquaman's trident.
But is that? I mean, but you know, Aquaman without the trident. It's not like Thor and his hammer, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, now you think of Aquaman's
Metron.
trident.
Sorry, Metron.
Oh, Metron. Okay.
That's
But-
the only weapon that I can think of.
Well, I mean, okay, if you look at the trident, especially now that the movie came out,
Yeah.
and it was all about the tridents.
Yeah, now it's a weapon.
Yeah, now it's a weapon of stature. I think, like, my personal opinion is because their characters are so strong. Again, Superman doesn't need a trident.
Yeah.
Superman doesn't need a hammer. You know, basically his fists are his hammers. I don't know. I don't see. I think it's because maybe DC wanted to develop the characters instead of the accessories.
There is one character,
Name them.
Green Lantern.
There you go. The ultimate
Power Ring.
The ultimate power ring. The ultimate weapon of the universe. And it's true. And this is what I forgot who said it from the DC universe. I think it was Jim Lee or probably Didio. Is that the ring, the Green Lantern ring, not the red or the blue or whatever, the Green Lantern ring, because it's the will, is the ultimate weapon in the,
Because it relies on the user's imagination.
Yeah, so basically, if you put the ring on Superman's will,
man.
I mean, basically, you got
oh my God.
unbeatable. Like literally, like
Wow.
well, I mean, okay, look at it this way: does Dr. Manhattan need anything? No, because he's a god.
He's a god.
He's literally a god.
Yeah.
So, I think that's probably one of the reasons why DC didn't make it where they needed a shield or they needed a pair of shoes. You know, like the new Air Jordans or whatever. They didn't need that. You're like the character's strong enough.
Okay.
That's just my theory.
What about you, Chandler?
Like I said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head as to
Like an actual weapon
yeah.
besides the power.
You know, I mean, are there weapons in the DC universe? Yes, Green Arrow with his bow.
arrow.
Needless to say, now
Yeah.
Green Arrow can still fight without his bow.
Yeah.
but it is his bow that defines him.
Wonder Woman's lasso.
Wonder Woman's lasso.
Yeah.
You know, that would I guess that would be the one.
Yeah.
The one most popular is her lasso.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that her lasso is not necessarily her weapon.
Exactly. She's the weapon.
She's the weapon.
Yeah.
The lasso is a tool that she uses in which to do what? To get truth out of the people that she deals with. You know, you don't see the lasso being used as a weapon to stop someone from attacking something.
Yeah.
In the sense of, okay, yeah, I guess she could lasso them, but it's not like it's not like you have a horde of enemy coming on you.
And you
At
just
that
swing the lasso
point,
around.
yeah, you're not going to do anything with the lasso where Thor's going to sit there and go, boom, you know, and
that's it.
there goes everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the ring. Green Lantern's
The
power ring.
ring and the lasso are probably the two things that we would have to come up
Weapons.
with.
Right? Batman's shark repellent, I guess. I don't know. Batman's shark repellent.
The can.
Just sometimes you can't get rid
His
of a bomb.
batarang.
His batarang.
But those aren't ultra powerful. But I mean, they're useful.
No,
Yeah.
but see, like I said, I can't really think of any ultra powerful weapon per se.
Yeah.
So if you do know out there in the universe, comment and let us know.
Comments, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for our top 3 topics of the day. So when we get back from commercial break, we're going to close out the show. Stick around. We'll be back. We are back, Geeked Out, right here on DefTal Radio. That is it for our show, folks. Oh, you know what? Even before we close the show out,
Yeah.
this weekend, Captain Marvel is going to be in the theaters.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Go see it. Support it.
We all going to see it?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be on the road.
You're going to be on the road.
Where are you going to be at?
I'm going to be in New York.
Okay.
I'm in New York this weekend. We're going to be at the
Big
Big
Apple?
Apple Comic Con,
Nice.
which is Saturday and Sunday. We will be, if you're looking for us, we're going to be in the comic book underground booth, which is booth 123, I believe it is.
Cool.
And then Monday we will be at John Romita Sr.'s house, signing with him.
Let them know I said hi.
I will do that.
All right.
And don't forget, you got to make sure you put in your schedule to come out in October,
Yeah.
so I can
New
introduce
York?
you to him.
Yes.
And then basically we will come back from that. We'll be home for maybe 24 hours before we then have to hop on a plane to go to Seattle for Emerald City.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Look at
So
Well, this weekend you're going to be in New York on that coast. I'm going to be on the California coast for the San Diego Comic Festival. It's not San Diego Comic Con. It's a smaller show, but it's getting a lot of traction. It's the San Diego Comic Festival. So go check me out.
yep,
Cool.
yep.
And I will be at home recovering from this cold and playing video games. Anyways, that's it for our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we're going to see Megan again, hopefully. So cross your fingers. I'm your man, JQ. This is Free.
Yo!
This is Chandler.
Yo.
And this is Geeked Out. We are out. Peace.
What's going on, guys? It's your man JQ, Geeked Out, right here on DefTal Radio. If you want to get more content from us, better make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't know what you're missing.